Animal Farm. What is there to say about Animal Farm? Really? Well, you know, I mean, it's Animal Farm. It's what it is. It's self-explanatory. It's all about a concept of a propaganda concept about don't be, communist or whatever. It's a pretty decent watch. I feel like if someone remade it, they should flash the story out with more details. I think it's more of something for a streaming show than a movie. Because you gotta have more details for it to really feel like a proper moralizing story, if you're gonna make a moralizing story like this. Another thing, I don't think people understand this, but people didn't just decide to use horses for glue. Between 1910 and 1930, the entire global industry of transportation shifted to cars and buses and public transportation. Before that, everyone wanted a horse. 1930s, you couldn't give away a horse, So the entire global horse infrastructure just became irrelevant overnight. And those horses, you had to do something with them, and that's why with the glue. So, it's pretty icky, but, I don't necessarily think it's a very good concept to apply to, or maybe it's a perfect concept. It's kind of a coin flip about, is it a good concept or is it a bad concept to use horses turned into glue for Animal Farm? But at the same time, at the end of the day, the Soviet Union collapsed because miners went on strike. So, I don't know. I don't know if Animal Farm could work as a good modern adaptation. I think something inspired by Animal Farm, because we have all this other context about communism right now. The space race is a lie. The space race was a lie. The communists did the things, and America just decided, well, this is annoying. We've been outshunned by the commies for this amount of time. Well, we choose to send a man on the moon and spend $100 billion of your taxpayer money to do so. And we are very bad at explaining how that money is gonna... It eventually became $9 for every buck spent on NASA as a norm, but man, maybe you can make the next pseudo Animal Farm about the space race or whatever. And XCOM was this movie from the 90s where, basically a guy recasts his dad as the main figure in rich white Americans working in the White House, figuring out how to stop the commies from destroying the world. All the while erasing the fact that there was a guy among them giving them exact detailed analysis of what the commies are thinking, all the while forgetting about the Bay of Pigs. If you actually look at history, the simple fact that we are talking about a movie that moralizes politics makes your brain work and think about all these things. Well, you gotta criticize the West, you gotta criticize the East, this way, that way, blah, 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 blah. And that's the main problem. We have the internet now, we have all this information, so a super narrow, moralized lesson about communism kind of loses its significance when you can just access all the information about communism and what it actually is. So it just becomes a hollow piece of propaganda, a historical piece of propaganda that probably meant a lot for a lot of people for decades, but at the end of the day, because it's the 21st century, because time has passed, it kind of grows out of relevance. It kind of loses its meaning. Because every time you see this and this and this and that metaphor, you summon like 30 ideas about the metaphor. And like why it's problematic to use this metaphor and that metaphor and whatever. So, you know, it's what it is. I don't know. It's a very coin flip experience on whether or not you're gonna like it or not like it. And you can even have a problem with it on principle, but depending on what mood you are in at a certain time during the day, it's either gonna seem better or worse because of what it is. And because you have all this stuff in your head about the history of the left and the right and the commies and the imperialists and the what and the what and the what and the where and blah. So, yeah, it's a propaganda movie. I don't know what to tell you.